Levy, whose Bills entered Monday night's game in Miami with the league's best record and the AFC's stingiest defense. And what Levy saw had to keep him smiling. The Bills limited the Dolphins to 33 yards rushing and intercepted 3 Dan Marino passes, the most impressive by an acrobatic Shane Conlon. Conlon's one-handed grab typified a night on which the Bills did just about anything they wanted with the football. And the Dolphins had plenty to worry about as Buffalo's Jim Kelly directed an unspectacular but flawless Bills attack. Number 33, Ronnie Harmon, helped Buffalo build a 10-0 lead and later helped the Bills put the game away. Buffalo rolled to a 31-6 victory and is now one step closer to clinching the AFC East. With football's best record, Cornelius Bennett and the Bills don't have any worries at all, leaving more time to just be happy. Another man who was supposed to relax and take it easy this week was Bears head coach Mike Ditka, who insisted on returning to the sidelines just 11 days after suffering a mild heart attack. And though Ditka left the play calling to his assistants, the Bears responded with a performance that had their head coach resting comfortably. Chicago intercepted 5 Washington passes, including 4 off of Redskin reliever Mark Rippon. And while Washington's understudy quarterback had his nerves shot, the Bears' Mike Tomczak played like he didn't have a worry in the world. Number 29, wide receiver Dennis Gentry, was Tomczak's leading target on the day, as the Bears stunned Washington by jumping to a 20-0 halftime lead. Gentry supplied the Chicago offense with all the flash it would need as the Bears ground out this victory on the line of scrimmage. Here, number 71, Charles Mann, is taken out of the play by Bears tackle Keith Van Horn, allowing guard Mark Bortz to clear a path for Matsui's score. When Bortz and Van Horn weren't supplying an escort service on the right side of the line, guard Tom Thayer was clearing away Dexter Manley on the left.
Inside handoff this time, and he's got it complete. Anderson, the 50, the 45, turns the corner to 40, down to the 30, the 20. Good night, Irene. He's gone for a touchdown. 50 yards.
I'll tell you, that guy's faster than I thought he was when Darrell Green can't catch it.
The Bears' surprisingly easy 34-14 win over the Redskins provided the usually fiery Ditka with a healthy dose of relaxation. But while Ditka had no reason to worry Sunday, at least one guy was sweating it out in Green Bay. With Thanksgiving just around the corner, this isn't the best time of year to be America's most feasted upon fowl. But apparently Packer fans don't care that their team is one of the biggest turkeys in the league. Green Bay entered Sunday's contest against the Colts trying to break a 12-game losing streak at Lambeau Field. But no matter how much they pecked away, the Packers eventually laid another egg. Packers coughed up the ball 4 times to take the dubious league lead in fumbles lost and directly set up 17 Indianapolis points.
Takes the snap, rolls to the right side. He has time. He lost one of the end zone intended for Mark Boyer. Boyer's got a score! Touchdown! His second career touchdown.
The Colts held off a late Packer rally to post their 5th straight win, and though Indianapolis didn't exactly beat the stuffing out of Green Bay, anything beat being mired in the Meadowlands Sunday, where the Patriots met the Jets in a game drenched by the elements, a torrent of penalties, and very little offensive execution. Neither team completed a single pass in the first quarter, but Patriot quarterback Doug Flutie eventually ended the drought with the lone scoring strike of the day.
Flutie back to pass, wants it all. Morgan open, touchdown!
A slow start may have had the Patriots singing the blues, but now they've changed their tune to "Don't worry, be happy," because they're back in the playoff race. This Sunday night in Miami, the Patriots will look to keep their fans happy with a 7th straight win over the Dolphins as Doug Flutie goes for his 5th win in 6 starts.
Well, the way
Between them, they have lost 25 of their last 32 games. A simple stat which suggests that their next victory is nothing more than a stay of execution. Last Sunday it was Saunders who got a reprieve thanks in part to tight end Rod Bernstein, number 82. With the Chargers clinging to a 3-0 fourth quarter lead, Bernstein's 57-yard catch and carry set up what would be the winning score. Barry Redden offset a late Falcon touchdown, and the Chargers' 10-7 victory reaffirmed Al Saunders' coaching philosophy. Another philosopher by the name of Thoreau observed that the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation, especially those who coach the Kansas City Chiefs. Frank Gans was coaching a 1-8-1 team that scored as often as Yasser Arafat sends out for bagels and lox, and his Chiefs were up against the potent Bengals. After Boomer Esiason's "Catch Me If You Can" tease flustered the apparently overmatched Chiefs, kick returner Stanford Jennings seemed to put them out of their misery.
Legs it down the field. It'll come to Jennings at the 2. Straight up to the 10. To the 15, to the 20. Breaks away in the clear. 25. Go! Lowry chasing him. He's going to catch him. He's going to go, I believe. 20, down to the 15, 10, 5. Yes, finally. The wait has been many, many years since the Bengals have run one back. 98 yards.
Cincinnati's first touchdown return in 12 years appeared to be the latest water mine in Kansas' sea of futility. But the Chiefs fired some torpedoes of their own. Behind Steve DeBerg's pinpoint passing and explosive special teams play, it was finally Kansas City's turn for in-your-face football.
Leg inside the 5. Here comes the rush. It's blocked by Albert Lewis. It's in the end zone. Bouncing. Recovered by the Chiefs.
This safety started the Chiefs' fourth quarter rally, but the comeback was made possible by kicker Nick Lowry. Lowry's 4 field goals kept them in the game, and he readied for a 5th attempt with the game tied and 2 seconds remaining.
Here's the snap, a good hold. Here's the soccer-style kick. It is up, and it is good. Lowry is converted from 39 yards away.
Lowry lifted struggling Kansas City to a euphoric 31-28 win, a victory that Frank Gans and the Chiefs will have to build on if they are to salvage this sorry season. But even coaching giants are encountering disappointing times. For 20 years, Chuck Noll has stood strong as the Steelers' head coach. His legend is tied to some great Pittsburgh teams that bear little resemblance to the 1988 edition. But against Philadelphia, the 2-9 Steelers displayed some surprising firepower.
He pumps. He is starting to run. He is firing deep on the run, and the pass is caught by Lips. Down the near side, he's going to go for a touchdown.
This 89-yard pass play, the season's longest, was one reason the Eagles were behind on the scoreboard most of the day. But coming from behind is where the Eagles' Randall Cunningham is at his best.
Cunningham looking. He's starting to run. He tucks the ball under. He's to the 5. He leaps. Touchdown, Cunningham!
As usual, Cunningham single-handedly kept Philadelphia in the game. rushing for 2 scores and passing his team into position for a late game-winning field goal. Luis Zendejas' chip shot lifted the Eagles to a 27-26 victory, their 3rd last-minute win in the last 4 weeks. While Philadelphia earned a last-gasp victory, Darryl Rogers had his last gasp as a head coach. Rogers needed the win over Tampa Bay to survive in Detroit, but the Lions didn't help his cause.
Howard bangs off of one tackler, stays on his feet to the 25-20, 15-10-5, and he dives. Touchdown, Buccaneers!
Rogers' Lions were not able to stop the likes of William Howard, and the head coach watched helplessly as Tampa Bay attempted a last-second 52-yard field goal with the game tied at 20.
And Iggy's kick is up. It's drifting. It is good!
Tampa Bay's victory came not only at the expense of the Lions, but also at the expense of Darryl Rogers' job. Rogers was fired last Monday. And defensive coordinator Wayne Fontes will now discover the pressure-packed world of an NFL head coach. With Darryl Rogers the first in-season coaching casualty in the NFL since 1986, the Lions, now under the command of defensive coordinator Wayne Fontes, will look to hold a 3-game losing streak at the expense of a Packers squad that has lost its last 4 games. Game Monday night against the 49ers, the defending champions suffered another setback in their quest to repeat. John Taylor's 95-yard punt return broke open a close game and broke a 49er team record established by Hugh McElhenney in 1952. On offense, Joe Montana rebounded from a first-half injury to run for a score and throw for 2 others, including this 80-yard hookup with Jerry Rice. While the 37-21 victory kept alive the 49ers' playoff prospects, the Redskins' playoff hopes were severely doused. The steady downpour that fell on the Meadowlands could hardly dampen the importance of a division rematch between Buddy Ryan's Eagles and Bill Parcells' Giants, nor would it wash away the Eagles' problems of stopping the pass.
Sims has the ball. Sims over the middle. It is complete. Robinson, 45, 35, 30, 20 yards, 15. He's in.
Bill Sims exploited Philadelphia's 28th-ranked pass defense for 2 touchdowns before yielding to an injury. But while Stacy Robinson was uncatchable, the Eagles were unconventional in producing their touchdown.
Complete first down, Keith Jackson. A fumble. And the Eagles recovered by the Eagles for a touchdown.
Chris Carter's alert recovery sent the game into overtime tied at 17. It would also fittingly foreshadow one of the most bizarre sudden death endings in memory when the Eagles' Luis Zendejas attempted a game-winning 31-yard field goal.
The ball is spotted. The kick is blocked. It's blocked, but it's picked up.
Right, Simmons, I think, bro.
And running in for a touchdown. The Eagles win.
Miracle of the Meadowlands. 10 years later, if I were the Eagles, I'd get off the field. Forget about it. We won. Go home. That's it.
Incredibly, on the 10th anniversary of the original Miracle of the Meadowlands, the Eagles benefited from another miracle to defeat the Giants. The 23-17 triumph allowed the 7-5 Eagles to share first place in the NFC East with both the Giants and the Phoenix Cardinals, who made a jolting journey to Houston's infamous House of Pain.
Here we go, baby. Here we go. House of Pain video. House of Pain video.
The Oilers have dubbed their dome the House of Pain. Quarterback Cliff Stout quickly learned why. With Neil Lomax's sideline, Stout failed to generate a single first down in the first quarter.
Run over, doing this. Second time, shift. JT went zone. Remember? That's zone. 31 safety zone. some form of zone.
While the Cardinals sputtered, the Oilers rolled to a 17-0 lead.
With the snap, gives to Heisman up the middle. He barrels down for a touchdown.
If I go me and I pick my hand up and he's giving me all that, damn, I go jumping.
Moon throwing downfield. Hill is open at the 10, at the 5, touchdown.
Hard hits and long bombs paced Houston, but they too would suffer in the house of pain.
Now we'll get our quarterback killed.
He steps up and throws at the 40, looking, wanting to throw, taking off, throwing up the field, wide open is Awalt at the 10, 5, touchdown Phoenix.
Damn, man, I'm coming right off, man. Y'all pushing the power back. That's great. You're doing a good job, Trudy. Good job, baby Pete.
Now scrambling up, and he dumps it in the backside for the touchdown catch by J.T.
The game had a playoff feel, and Ernest Givens emerged as its hero. He absorbed a mighty blow in the second quarter, only to bury Phoenix with 2 clutch second-half touchdown catches.
Back the pass. Here comes a late blitz. The ball thrown to the end zone for Givens. Touchdown! Ernest Givens with a leaping catch.
31-14 in the house of pain. We will remain. No, Bob.
Stout overcame 5 sacks and 2 interceptions to fire for 3 scores, and he became a respected guest in the house of pain.
Neil Lomax is a great quarterback, but Stout is not much far behind him, if he's far behind him at all. Plus, he has that added dimension where he can run the ball if you come after him to him, which he did today. So, he is a complete football player. It's just a matter of us playing a pretty decent game today and coming out on top.
Phoenix's fate in the NFC East should be decided in the next 3 weeks when they face divisional foes Philadelphia, because they were good enough to be the favorites. Oh, how times have changed. And against Seattle, Steve DeBerg demonstrated why Kansas City is usually cast as the underdog.
Back to pass to Berg. Looks across the middle. Now looks to the right side. Goes intercepted by Terry Taylor. 20, 10, 5, touchdown.
While Terry Taylor proved adept at grand theft, memoir-writing linebacker Brian Bosworth wasn't quite as proficient at assault and battery. The Boz's failure to stop Christian Okoye is the kind of play that could relegate the best-selling author to the NFL's remainder bin. Eventually, the Chiefs closed the book on Seattle when Nick Lowry kicked a game-winning field goal with less than a minute remaining for the 2nd straight week. Kansas City beat favored Seattle 27-24 as the Seahawks suffered their 7th consecutive loss at Arrowhead Stadium. Upsets like this one are turning the AFC West into a crazy 3-ring circus. In the AFC West, the San Diego Chargers have performed plenty of slapstick buffoonery for most of the season, but the Chargers weren't clowning around against the Rams in Anaheim, where they turned the spotlight on their strongmen. San Diego also benefited from Charles White's inadvertent juggling act.
Quick handoff straight ahead. Charles White fumbles it. Stolen away. Browner. 30, 35, 40. Laterals with Sammy Seal.
The Browner-Seal tandem combined for a 75-yard score.
10-5. Touchdown, San Diego.
While this was a big play for the Chargers, return specialist Anthony Miller produced one that was even bigger.
Chargers moving right to left on your radio dial with Anthony Miller and Jamie Holland, the deep guys. Lansford belts it. It's short. Going to be grabbed there by the up man at the 8 to the 10 to the 15 to the 20. Finds the seam. Here he comes. 25-30 to the 40. Anthony Miller, 50. Touchdown, San Diego. Anthony Miller takes it coast to coast.
Jim Everett did his best to stem the Charger onslaught by throwing for 2 scores. But Everett's passing proved to be a mere sideshow to San Diego's surprising scoring spectacle, which also featured a pair of rushing touchdowns by ex-Ram Barry Redden. The Rams lost for the third week in a row as they fell victim to a 38-24 win by a Charger team that improved its record to 4-8. San Diego still has an outside shot at winning a division in which the front runners continually hobble themselves with crippling mistakes. The Los Angeles Raiders are a case in point. When they played host to lowly Atlanta, the Raiders bobbled countless opportunities to toss away the crutches of a teetering offense that has failed to reach the end zone during the team's last 8 quarters of play. Feisty Falcons were led by ferocious rookie linebacker Andre Bruce, number 93. Bruce's 2 sacks included a forced fumble that he recovered to set up the game's lone touchdown in a 12-6 Atlanta win. The 6'5", 245-pound Bruce also squashed a flea flicker when he traveled downfield to register the lone interception of the contest. Ordinarily, Atlanta's victory would have been considered a stunning achievement, but last Sunday, the Falcons simply typified an underdog day afternoon. It was the Raiders' move from Oakland's 7 years Buffalo Bills who last Sunday waved goodbye to the rest of the AFC East by turning the conference's top-rated defense loose on the visiting Jets. Buffalo stuffed New York to send the game into overtime, where the division title rested on the foot of Scott Norwood.
Waiting for the snap, the put down, the kick is up, and it is good! It is good! The Bills have won it in overtime! They win the division championship! 9-6 over the Jets, and this place is bedlam! It is bedlam! Unbelievable!
The 11-1 Bills became the earliest team to clinch an AFC division title since the league began its 16-game format. And for this, Buffalo fans had a special way of saying thanks. But Buffalo isn't the only city that can be thankful for a great defense, as under the roof of the Metrodome, the Minnesota Vikings have put together the league's #1 rated unit. And on Sunday, Minnesota decided it was time to put a lid on the Colts' 5-game winning streak. Two sacks by number 56 Chris Dolman paced the Viking defense, while kicker Chuck Nelson was all they needed on offense.
Chuck Nelson hasn't hit one from this distance all year long. From 49 yards out, Nelson's kick on the way. It is good! Nelson from 49, and the Vikings lead 12-3. And Chuck Nelson is up on the shoulders of a couple of teammates.
Nelson's 4th field goal of the day clinched the Vikings' 4th victory in their last 5 games. And while Nelson was Minnesota's hero of the day, Dan Marino has tried to emerge as one of Miami's lone heroes of the year. As the NFL's passing yardage leader, Marino is one man for whom Miami fans can give thanks during the holiday. But Sunday night, the Dolphins and Patriots looked like they could have gone until New Year's Day without scoring. The Dolphins, who usually live by their offense, died by it Sunday night, as the simplest things reached new levels of difficulty.
23-yard field goal attempt. Jaworski gets it down. Franklin misses it. He misses it wide left. Tony Franklin boots the bunny.
Tony Franklin's 23-yard shank in the 4th quarter was one of 3 missed field goals on the night, leaving a once explosive Dolphin team starved for some offense. But no one went hungry Sunday at the Superdome, where the pre-Thanksgiving dinner included a main course of Bronco under glass, plucked, stuffed, then burnt to a crisp by Bobby Hebert and the Saints. Number #84, Eric Martin caught 2 of 3 scoring strikes from Hebert, who fed off the Broncos for 20 of 23 completions. The Broncos were overmatched in every phase of the game as they were dealt their worst shutout loss since 1967.
Wobbly kick that Gray will take at the 35. Bobble momentarily, run to the near sideline. 40, still on his feet. 45, midfield, 50, 40, 35, 30. Gray's 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Saints!
Mel Gray raised 66 yards for the longest punt return touchdown in team history, helping the Saints to their largest margin of victory ever and giving them a 2-game lead in the NFC West. More than enough ingredients to provide the entire city of New Orleans with a full-course holiday feast. The Cardinals are hot, but temperatures at Sun Devil Stadium are even hotter. Field level temperatures have averaged over 100 degrees at home this season.
I can certainly identify.
He was just getting out of the blocks. His Lions were already in the home stretch in the race for the #1 draft pick.
Up the middle, and Gary James breaks a tackle, breaks another one. He's in the clear at the 40. James up to the 50, being chased from behind, is hit and fumbles the ball. It bounces to the Packer 35. 3 players dive for it. It's loose inside
the Packers 20. Seem to be getting enough bad bounces to make them favorites for the league's worst record. And an inspired Detroit defense gave them a boost in the right direction. Three Lion takeaways helped set up 4 Eddie Murray field goals. In a game otherwise marked by futility, Murray was enough to carry Detroit to a 19-9 victory. The win moved Fonts to tears, but as it moved the Lions a game ahead of Green Bay in this already lost season, Detroit fans may have wept over their fleeting chance at getting college football's top star. The Dallas Cowboys star once shined for greatness, but if this image in the Cowboys end zone looks a little tarnished, maybe it's because it's been trampled upon so much lately.
Holman goes motion, hand off to Brooks, running wide to the right. Gets to midfield, down to the Cowboys 45, 40, 35, and is going to go all the way. Breaks into the clear, and romping in for the touchdown is James Brooks. 51 yards.
James Brooks led a Cincinnati attack that balanced the run and pass to build a 38-10 lead.
Signals Eddie Brown a motion. Play action fake. Boomer's back to throw. Hits the ball all alone. Brooks catches a touchdown left side. Wow. Oh, did that fake out that secondary completely.
Cincinnati made life easy for the Cowboys scouting staff, exposing every hole they'll need to fill on draft day. Still, at least 2 spots on their offensive roster seemed secure. Ray Alexander may have convinced them not to seek a receiver, and in case there were still any doubts, Herschel Walker proved they're mighty strong at running back too. Despite these rays of sunshine, the Cowboys' 38-24 loss was just another gloomy day in what looks to be a long winter in Dallas. Still, the faithful may see fair weather on the distant horizon, for the Cowboys' 8th straight defeat kept them tied for the league's worst record, and the closer they get to the first pick in the draft, the brighter their future looks. Back in the 70s, one would have thought it would be a cold day in hell when Chuck Noll's Steelers would contend for the league's top draft pick. But in 1988, it was a cold day in Cleveland that moved them closer to the NFL's most dubious prize.
And he completes it out into the 33-yard line. Langhorne with the ball, breaks the tackle. He's off over the 50. Here he goes down to the Steelers 30, the 20, the 10. He's all the way for a touchdown. It covers 77 yards. Shouldn't have. Here's the snap, and it's blocked, and they've got it, and it's going to be a touchdown.
And Minifield just trots in for a touchdown, and the Cleveland Brownies have the makings of a rout here.
A total Steeler collapse may have had UCLA's Troy Aikman house hunting in Pittsburgh, but recent NFL history will tell him not to rule out Tampa. Twice in the past 3 years have the Buccaneers chosen first in the draft, but inside Tampa Stadium last Sunday, one man was determined that it doesn't happen again. For against the Chicago Bears, quarterback Vinny Testaverde was running for more than yards. He may have been scrambling for his job. Unfortunately, the former first pick couldn't run from a Chicago team that helped raise his league-leading interception total to 28 and brought the Bucs one step closer to next year's #1 draft choice.
Chicago on a second down call. Tom Zach back to throw under some pressure again. Screens it out. Right side, Mustard 40, 35, cuts it back 30, breaks the tackle, 25. Breaks into the clear, to the 20, to the 15, he's to the 10, to the 5.
While the top pick may again wind up in Tampa, the top team may again be in Chicago. December 28, 1947, a Cardinal magic moment. The 47 Chicago Cardinals featured the Dream backfield, Paul Chrisman, Pat Harder, Marshall Goldberg, and number 62 Hall of Famer Charlie Trippi. In the championship game against Philadelphia, this 75-yard punt return by Trippi was the key play as the franchise won its second and last NFL title. Then the Detroit Lions. The Viking defense, ranked #1 in the league, set a club record by allowing just 3 first downs. But the Vikings not only can dish out the punishment, they can take it as well. Anthony Carter's bone-rattling reception was one of his 7 on the day as the Vikings shoved the Lions aside on both sides of the ball. The Vikings' 23-0 shutout was the same old tune for fans in Detroit, but they're playing a new melody in Philadelphia. The Eagles are charging full steam ahead toward their first playoff berth in 7 years. But on Sunday, they appear to have their backs to the wall early in an NFC East battle for first place against the Cardinals. The first of 2 Earl Farrell scores helped the NFC's top-rated offense build a 14-7 second quarter lead. But both offenses had to contend with a furious pass rush.
Yeah! There you go, baby! That's the way to play! That's the way to stop it, baby!
At halftime, the Eagles found inspiration not from above, but from some intense locker room speeches. And when the heavens opened up, so did the Philadelphia offense.
Ham is back. He's looking. He fires to the far corner. Leaping catch. Touchdown, Chris Carter!
Chris Carter's touchdown catch put Philadelphia back on top. But when quarterback Randall Cunningham later suffered a pulled back muscle, reserve Matt Cavanaugh came on for one play to put the game away.
Cavanaugh on 3rd down. Backs up. Looks. Floats it for the end zone. It's caught by Ron Johnson for a touchdown!
Ron Johnson's second touchdown catch of the day helped Philadelphia move into a 2-way tie atop the NFC East. And after 4 straight wins by Norman Brayman's Eagles, Philadelphia's divisional foes now may have their backs to the wall.
Congratulations, Steve. Ronnie? You know, this team doesn't know what the word adversity means. They just keep coming back and back and back and back and back. And what can I say? Whatever happened in this locker room, I understand that Buddy just told them not to panic, not to give up, not to keep playing football, and that's exactly what the guys did, and they came back and had a heck of a second half.
This Sunday